Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we'll return with round 22 of the F124 Ferrari Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Las Vegas. If you missed out on the last video that went live from Brazil a few days ago, sorry, Portugal even, more recently than that, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Just 3 rounds to go of this season and things are really heating up in the Drivers' World Championship. We have a 7-point lead over Max Verstappen as we return here to the Vegas Strip. I mean, it's pretty much now a 2-horse race. Fernando Alonso, his results, for the most part, have absolutely collapsed in the last few Grand Prix there. He's barely picked up a handful of points on more than one occasion since Singapore, which has, been a real disappointment for him. Max Verstappen, though, he's just on a tear. 4 P2s in a row, followed up by a win last time out in Portimao. He finally broke his curse of not being able to win a race after Zandvoort this season. Same thing happened to him last year. But yeah, with just 3 rounds to go of the campaign, he is looking absolutely formidable and consistent as well. Vegas, though, on paper, I'm hoping is going to suit our car a little bit more. Obviously, if you're new around here, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs on the channel. But yeah, these final 3 races are going to be absolutely pivotal for our championship hopes. So fingers crossed we can try and get a good result today and maybe give myself a tiny buffer over the Dutchman once again.
The walls are close, the speeds are high, and the location is borderline unbelievable. It is time for qualifying in Las Vegas.
Well, I'm letting everybody else then get on with their runs quite quickly here in qualifying because I tell you what, I don't want to speak too soon, but this Ferrari car is absolutely coming alive around these streets. Of course, we've still only had 1 Las Vegas Grand Prix, and obviously that really did suit Ferrari IRL last year. In fact, Leclerc was actually a little bit unlucky that he wasn't able to beat Verstappen in what would have probably been the only fair fight all year that Red Bull would have lost. See, Ferrari did win in Singapore as well, but Red Bull were uncharacteristically slow around Marina Bay that weekend. But I'll tell you what here, though, for the first time in a few Grand Prix, it really does feel like, on paper, our car should have a big upper hand, and moving to Qatar as well next weekend, hopefully we can try and carry that momentum with us. But that, all that being said, though, things can change very quickly in Formula 1, especially around a track that is so dominated by one huge straight line as well. But yeah, at the moment, early on, I feel like we've got a good setup in the car. It's able to attack the curbs quite nicely. Of course, as always, we've got a lot of straight line speed in it as well, which is always good news. And yeah, it's just allowing us to carry that extra bit of momentum right the way around the lap there. Gives us that extra bit of confidence, especially helped by a little bit of slipstream from George Russell. So we'll try and get back around him into the next corner. Hopefully he won't dive bomb me, which he won't there. And again, bouncing over those curves down the strip. Open up the ERS though, and the battery through the final corner. I'm staggered this isn't a DRS zone, to be completely honest, but up towards the line, it is going to be a 29-0. I think that's 8 tenths clear of what anybody else has done. Well, there we go then. It's a British 1-2-3 at the end of Q2 there, but 8 tenths ahead of George Russell is an absolutely wild gap. Charles Leclerc, admittedly, is 3 tenths clear of anybody else through the final sector as well. Apart from me, we've got about another 2 tenths over our teammate there, so we are making up so much down that back straight there. Perez, probably your big shocker out in Q2. But that being said, Verstappen has been known to spring a surprise by the time we get into Q3. I would love to win this weekend, though, give ourselves a bit more of a buffer, and maybe Leclerc could finally act as a decent number 2. Well, ask and you shall receive is apparently Charles Leclerc's mantra this weekend. Suddenly our teammate now has gone to the top of the board with a 29.3. Still not as quick as we managed, but obviously, yeah, we did gain a couple of extra tenths in the slipstream of George Russell on our lap as we try and shut the car off through the curbing of turn 1. Just bottomed out a little bit that time around there and understeered through slightly. Turn 2, yeah, the AI I think are able to take flat out, but we are definitely running less downforce here, so that allows us, just carry the speed around the rest of the lap, but maybe we lose just a bit through those first couple of corners there, down in towards sector 2. So nudging up against the barrier in a few places. We are willing to put it all on the line. Wave to the smiley face on the sphere as well. I do love how cool that... I mean, that thing is so just American, isn't it? Completely in excess. But you know what? It's bright neon light, so of course the Americans love it. They can admire that one as the race weekend continues to unfold. You want to try and get a good run out to the back straight there, and you can just see how stable this Ferrari car sits when you head out onto that back straight as well. It just lands and then is absolutely fine right the way through, you know, and that's something we haven't really seen right the way back since probably Monaco in this season as well. So it's really, really good still over some of those curbing. Breakdown at the 100-meter board there again, or just bottom out slightly through the exit, but power down up towards the start-finish line. A 1:29.3 is the time to beat by our teammate Charles Leclerc. It has been a perfect lap time. I think we're going to be slightly down on Q2. We still achieve a 29.2 though. A Ferrari front row lockout, and Verstappen, he's nowhere to be seen. Our times did continue to improve for the rest of the AI there, but it only took us one run, Sebastian Vettel, Singapore 2013 style, for us to lock out pole position. I didn't actually give myself enough time to get back out there. So yeah, we were quite lucky that we got that lap in when we did. But a 10th clear of our teammate Charles Leclerc. I'm really hoping this weekend he'll act as a bit of a rear gunner for us. Max Verstappen down in P6. We have got a golden opportunity to try and build up a bit of a lead once more. Let's do this thing though. It's time for the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Welcome to Las Vegas, where Formula One has taken over the entire city. The circus has come to town. It's race day. "17 corners, 3 straights and 2 DRS zones. We have taken over the world-famous strip, and Formula One is going to have a top speed there of around 210 miles per hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Norris, Verstappen, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon, Ricciardo, Perez, Russell, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Albon, Hamilton, Behrman, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Vesti, and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Of course, this circuit, yeah, in years gone by has been a good one for us, and hopefully today can be more of the same. Of course, a track dominated by straight lines, you'd think, based on this Ferrari car this year, would work in our favour, but anything can happen, and of course we need to try and beat Verstappen, keep hold of that World Championship lead that we've tried to hang on now for so long. It is 5 red lights down on the grid. Oh, it is a mighty long hole, but it is lights out, and away we go then. Not to the best launch in the world, Charles Leclerc will try and get to our inside down in turn 1, but late on the brakes around the outside of our teammate through that first corner. Unfortunately, not good enough there. Leclerc hits the apex and will absolutely claim P1 off the start of this one. We're still ahead of Alonso and Verstappen. Now, obviously, if Alonso wants to remain in the title fight, he basically has to try and beat us this weekend, as he will try and make the move as well down in towards turn 4. So you can immediately see just lacking confidence on this lap 1. We are still ahead of Verstappen though. So like I said, of course, is the big one, and yeah, 25 laps here. It's a weirdly quick race, obviously, because the track is so long, because it's so fast. 25 laps here really doesn't actually take you that long to try and navigate. So, you know, we've obviously got a lot of time, but we haven't got too much time either. And of course, you know, strategy and things like that will get in the way later on. Of course, we saw last weekend in Portimao how we really struggled for pace throughout the first stint. And then later on, you know, we had the pace over both Max and George. Just wasn't really able to capitalise on it by the end of the afternoon as we look at this down that monstrous straight on the strip. We're doing almost 210 miles an hour with no DRS and no battery usage. You can see Alonso in front of me harvesting battery and still able to maintain the same kind of speed. And whatever rule changes and regulations we get for next season, these cars have been absolute monsters and really, really fun to drive, as Leclerc will lead at the end of lap 1. Right, well, let's see what we can do then down the strip then, as Alonso, I think, is going to try and line up an attack on our teammate. It's a bit of a shame, obviously, the DRS zone has been shortened this year, because it does mean achieving ridiculous speeds is a bit more difficult. Doesn't stop us doing over 230, though, as we will go 3 wide down into, oh, that final chicane there, and I'm so sorry, Leclerc just completely bottomed out over the curbing. Alonso, the brave ones, try and send it right the way around or outside there, and immediately will spring himself to the lead of the Grand Prix. And we might just have compromised our teammate here a bit too much, as Verstappen now will move past him back down in towards turn 1. We will hang on to P2, but Alonso was bolted. Oh, there we go. Finally, this time round, we're going to be in the range of Fernando, though, as we make our way back down the back straight. So are we now going to try and utilise some of that DRS? You can see, we've seen it so many times this year. When Alonso gets out in front, he will really try to take everything out of that car way too early to try and build up a gap there. As 229, and Alonso will just decide at the last moment there to cover us off. I mean, the closing speed was probably in excess of 20 miles an hour, so we really can't go for those aggressive manoeuvres too often in this GP, but that time we both live to tell the tale. Well, as I've said countless times before, if I've learned anything from playing the F1 games over the last few years, it's that you can't leave anything to chance. To the outside of Fernando will go, and hopefully this time around we'll make the move happen.
That sets us up nicely for the rest of this race.
I mean, it's probably now in my best interest to try and keep Alonso between Verstappen and I. He has to have that gap below 60 points this weekend if he wants to keep his title hopes alive, so he does need to beat me. If I remember correctly as well, there is going to be side by side, making our way over the start-finish line and back down in towards turn 1 and turn 2 there. We'll go the long way around. We'll have a bit of a compromise line through that second corner there, as, I mean, this circuit is just so odd to kind of try and drive around, as here comes both Alonso and Verstappen 3 wide temporarily as we make our way down the back straight. And will Verstappen go from 3rd to 1st there? He's going to try and hook it up the long way around Alonso. We've now got to get the popcorn out and just watch this battle unfold as we go down in towards the sphere. Don't often see cars navigate side by side through there, but Verstappen knows this isn't the big fight for him, but he's only gone and done it. Verstappen out of nowhere back to the lead of the GP. So clearly, yeah, the Dutchman sensing a chance, sensing an opportunity there, and willing to risk it all. Well, he's still very, very early on in this race, but surely now again, we've went from 3rd to 1st, or we've tried to go from 3rd to 1st on lap 1, and we attempted again here as we make our way down the back straight. You can see Alonso definitely struggling with his battery at the moment. AI just not using it very effectively. They both start to try and use it again there as Verstappen, oh, just gives Alonso the room, but not myself. Who can blame him in that moment there? They'll both kind of trip each other up over the final corner, as we'll try and get the run back down the inside of Alonso. They see Verstappen again, having just to save a little bit of battery here. This is just a game of chess right now between your top 3. Where do you go for it? Where do you just hold out? Oh, look, the rear's up. We just about hang on to it. That could have been very, very bad. Here we go again then, as we get to 1/3 distance. Are we going to see Alonso try and make the move on Verstappen? Are we going to be able to try and make the move on the pair of them? 231 miles an hour as we will power down the inside there, just about get it slowed down over the curbs there. Alonso will come back at us once again there. We'll try and get the run off of the corner, and that time around we just about get the power down. Clean back around the outside of Alonso once again. But your top 3 cars covered by less than 4 tenths. Your top 3 in the championship. We've all got very different circumstances. Alonso needs to beat me. Verstappen wants to beat us. We just want to try and knock Alonso out of the title, so we only have to focus on one more car. But both of them not... You know, they've got nothing to lose at this stage. Verstappen desperately wants to try and get, what, a 5th Formula 1 world title? Alonso desperately wants to try and get his 3rd Formula 1 world title. We're hunting down our 1st. I mean, it is impressive just how quickly things can turn around inside F1 24, and the AI, they love to have a good battle that slows each other down there. Alonso down to 2.4 seconds behind there, still in that P2.
We've got some clear track in front of us, and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap.
But you can already see pretty much instantaneously Leclerc has got himself back into that fight with the two of them as well there. He's actually got ahead of Verstappen again. So just see, I mean, Alonso, I think they went wheel to wheel again down at the end of the... Well, is it the front straight? Is it the back straight? I don't really know. One of the straights around this venue. And yeah, that gap just continues to open up then. So, oh, that's not what we wanted. Nice and easy. We've got plenty of time to just gather it up. We can lose a second or so.
We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
And now, yeah, we are going to be into the pit lane at the end of a lap 11. So Leclerc, he will, I would assume, is going to inherit the lead of the Grand Prix because I think he's about to fly past Alonso down this back straight as well. I mean, look at the speed even our teammate has got over the rest of the field there. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Prancing horses, they are still, there's a reason it's called horsepower at the end of the day. But yeah, Leclerc 1.7 seconds back. Into the pit lane we will come, nice and easy.
Okay,
just like get it slowed down there.
We've got to focus on the pit stop.
And all three of your championship rivals into the pit lane then. So I think Alonso and Verstappen will hold us up just a little bit there. There goes Alonso. Where's Verstappen? Oh, Verstappen's behind us, isn't he, of course?
We're happy with that one.
It is a shame that you don't kind of move up and down the pit lane based on where you finished in the season prior.
Last stop.
Right, now we've just got to try and deal with some of these slower drivers then. Yuki Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri. It's quite impressive, actually. You'd think Vegas would be the worst track on the calendar for kind of the AI bunching up, but seems like, yeah, they've done a pretty good job of spreading out as Yuki. That was... I mean, he can obviously go for the move. I'm not telling him off for that. You know, he's got his own race to play. But to do it that late and that aggressively was a little bit unexpected as Leclerc then peels into the pit lane, as well as I would assume pretty much everybody else in this GP. Luckily, yeah, some of that lap traffic, or slower traffic even, has worked out nicely for us.
0 seconds.
As Alonso and Verstappen will move back past Leclerc, so once again he's going to have his work cut out. But as we cross half distance here, we're looking pretty good. Well, I don't know what Alonso's fastest lap time is right now, but whatever it is, we're going to try and go beat it here. That bonus point, you never know. I'm thinking about that Qatar sprint. If Verstappen can beat us there, then this bonus point might be really, really useful to try and have towards the end of the year. So, no! No! I cannot believe it! Our first mechanical failure of the year! Right when the championship is getting exciting. And Verstappen, we were comfortably going to beat him. We are out of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And an easy win literally goes up in smoke.
What a performance! He's left the field behind. Charles Leclerc wins it.
Well, it all came good in the end for them, but it wasn't an easy start. Not the most straightforward of days, but I think it shows great strength in an athlete as a driver when you can overcome a day like this and walk away still with a victory.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, I guess when all is said and done, the best case scenario for us had to be that Charles Leclerc would win that Grand Prix, but I didn't want to think about it late on in the campaign. You know, it's been in the back of my mind that we have not had a single mechanical failure this season, and of course, right when an easy win looked on the cards, it has to go badly for us. Charles Leclerc, though, takes the win ahead of Alonso and Verstappen, so I mean, yeah, Max in P3, like I said, was pretty much all we could hope for in the end. Stroll beats out Perez with Norris, Piastri, Ocon, Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda rounding out your top 10. But what's that going to do to the championship? We're just 2 races left, 8 points in it between myself and Verstappen. Alonso technically not out of the title fight just yet. He has basically got to try and win, though, the sprint and the GP next time out, and take the dub in Abu Dhabi, and maybe just then, if Verstappen and I take each other out all 3 times, he's got a shot at the crown. It's Leclerc's first win since Bahrain, all the way back at the start of the year, so he's now just 4 points back from Lando Norris as well, and safely ahead of Lance Stroll. Remember when we thought Lance might be able to spring a championship surprise as well this season? Further down the order, you can see Perez now, him, Piastri and Hamilton all within 1 point of each other, which is going to be a battle to look out for right to the end of the campaign. And constructors-wise, though, luckily for us, yeah, Leclerc with that dub means that heading into Qatar, we've got a 97-point lead, and maximum points per weekend is 44, plus the 15 for the sprint. So we need to score 6 points as a team inside the final 2 weekends, and that will be the Constructors' Championship coming back to Maranello once again there. Red Bull now with a 22-point lead over McLaren as well, a little bit further back. That one is still exciting, and I tell you what, if Alpine can keep scoring points there, 7 teams with over 100 points by the end of the year would be a really, really impressive feat as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready in Qatar.